Hello students, we are talking about the sovereignty of God. And today I want to share my testimony with you to see the goodness and sovereignty of God in my life. I grew up in an amazing family in South Africa. In South Africa there are super traditional schools. Some of them are like 135 years old. And it's a huge thing to go to one of these schools. They are usually all boys schools or all girls schools. They've got uniform, it's proper caps and hats, ties. When I was 13 years old, it was time for me to go. And I was so excited I couldn't sleep. I think I packed my bags like 1 or 2 months before they needed to be packed. I'd already packed them. It's a boarding school, so you stay there. Your parents don't stay with you, they drop you, they leave, and that's where you are. You live at the school. In my very first few days and nights there, I developed such a fear and anxiety there. I just had such a weight of pressure on me that it almost, well it did, it became unbearable for me to be there. I mean, I couldn't sleep at night. And this whole excitement and joy and it just became one nightmare. It was tough because I was facing this decision now: do I stay or do I leave? And it's such a prestigious thing to be there. It's such a traditional thing. My entire family had been at the school. I was now facing this prospect of being this black sheep, you know, this person that the first guy in the whole family to not go to the school, and yet I couldn't. I had to leave. So I went in 9th grade to a new school closer to home. I felt this new confidence come to my life, that it was like I was happy again. I think I got into trouble so much at school. There was this wanted list that they had at school with students that said, it like had your picture in the staff room, that said, if you see this student misbehaving, please report him immediately to the front office. Me and my brother were actually on that list. But what I found was a little bit, disheartening for me is that this public school specifically wasn't offering great sport. And I was desperate to play rugby. For the last, my junior and senior high school years, I went to a top boys school, traditional school, just like the one I had left in 8th grade. And I played great sport. And in that school, I also developed this incredible passion for acting. I would have comedy shows during recess at these schools, where I would have the entire school on the recess field, and I would just have comedy shows. Sometimes they would run into the next lesson. So by the end of my senior year in high school, I got accepted to a private acting school in Johannesburg. And I was top in my class. I was top in my class in my first year, I was top in my class in the second year, I was top in my class through midway of 3rd year. And then the lifestyle at acting school started to catch up with me a little bit. I was drinking a lot more, I was smoking excessively, and obviously there were lots of drugs. Man, I was just feeling on top of the world. I was drinking, I was probably very drunk at the time, smoking, and I remember taking one drag of this drug that we were smoking at the time. And in one moment of time, my entire world as I knew it just flipped. The doctors said afterwards that I'd gone into a psychosis. I didn't know who I was. It was a very, very scary experience. Just thoughts, lies. I didn't know where it was coming from. I would be sitting on a film set trying to act, but my mind would be completely somewhere else. I had to leave acting school and go straight to a psychiatric hospital in South Africa. When I came out of psychiatric care, nothing had changed in my life, except that I was on a whole bunch of serious medication. And the problem was that one of the things that it affected was that no matter how much alcohol I consumed or how much I smoked, I was immune to the effects of any drug or any alcohol. And I mean, this was just a nightmare, because usually I used these things to escape, but now I couldn't escape. I was like I was in a prison. Slowly after time, I was able to drink again and to get drunk. I was able to smoke again and to feel the effects of these drugs again, and that's all I did. I remember phoning a friend and asking him if he wanted to hang out, and I remember it was bad, because I remember he said to me, "Clint, I don't want to hang out with you anymore." And I mean, that just, oh man, that hit me hard. I was heading into a very, very dark and isolated place. I managed to drive myself to a rehab facility, and it was a Christian rehab facility. I didn't know about this. I didn't know. I mean, it's incredible when I think back now. But in this place, you had to go to church, and I tell you, they had some really good coffee at this church. So I used to really just sit back, have about 5 cups of coffee through the service, sit outside, wait for everyone to finish, and then tell the lady that it was a great service. It's amazing, because there was a girl, I started to really like her, but she used to sit in the church. So this was a bit of a problem for me, because I didn't want to be in church. But I wanted to impress her. I wanted her to kind of feel that I loved Jesus, and I had no desire for Jesus at all. But I sat in the church for her. I didn't tell her that, obviously. And it was in one of these services that the pastor of the church did a altar call for prayer, anyone that needed prayer. Something in me brought me to the front of the church. The pastor came down the steps, and he started to pray, and my heart opened to what he was praying. I remember getting into the truck to go back to rehab, and arriving back at rehab, and feeling like I didn't belong in the rehab. I left rehab with absolutely no desire to drink again, to smoke anything again. God had just done an absolute miracle in my life. I know that I was doing everything that I possibly could to run away from Jesus Christ, to run as far from God as I could. I thought I was pursuing an acting career. I thought I was pursuing this, but I was actually running from God. When I went to that rehab, God found me there. It's the sovereignty of God that He uses everything to reach somebody. There's no distance that you can run that God cannot meet. And it's the grace of God. I didn't deserve it. I didn't want it. But in a moment of time, He gave me a faith when there was nothing else to draw from. And that was enough for His grace to touch my life in such a way that I would never ever be the same again. Students, I hope you felt the heart of God for you, that He's most able and that He is sovereign. For your challenge this week, I want you to ask yourself and to think about a time in your life where you saw the sovereignty of God in your life. It may be a situation that was beyond your control, where you saw His grace and His hand change that situation or do something miraculous? And I want you to share that with us this week. I so look forward to listening and looking to your responses. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, students.